Hello again. Let me just pause the music. Welcome everyone back to Fangame Marathon. Next run up is going to be Zelda 1 for the NES, and it's a randomizer, much like how Link to the Past has a well-known randomizer. And this is going to be run by Matrick and Dragon. And there is going to be a sort of mini-map tracker thing to show you what items have been collected and where, and that will be handled by Cake Sauce. So give me just a second, I'll pop that over, and thank you everyone for being patient. And
so give us a countdown so we can push our reset buttons at the same time so that it brings up the title screen right away so we can talk about it.
Absolutely. Well, right now, you are now live, so you can hear audio from your stream.
Okay.
And does time start when you reset?
No. It'll start when we'll give you a countdown for it.
All right, perfect. Then you can get going.
Okay.
So 3, 2, 1, reset.
Boom. All right. So I just want to start this off. I'm Matrick. I'm here with my buddy Dragondarch, and we got Cake Sauce as well. He's going to be hanging out in the call with us. Since this is a randomizer and there are multiple people in the call, we are not going to have the chat open. So if you do have questions, Cake will have to field them because we're going to have probably little light, stupid spoilers back and forth. But what we're aiming for is to try to minimize the spoilers between the two of us. Because this is a race and it is random and we're not going to know what the other's doing. You may have also noticed that the title screen looked a little funky and that a lot of these icons that you're seeing right now, they don't look normal. And that's because we actually have a custom sprite set that we have put into the game that is completely different from the normal Zelda sprites. And all the sprites are taken from the NES game Legacy of the Wizard. I'll be playing with Roas, who was the boy from that game. I'm not sure, are you playing?
I'm playing as Mena, the mother.
Mena? So he's playing with the mother. So all of our sprites are going to look a little different. There's some fun ones in here that I'm looking forward to you guys being able to see. I know Cake has already seen some of these, so
yes, I have.
He knows what to expect here.
Oh, that's good.
I got hers.
All right, So just to make sure, Dragondarch, you have bracelet, magical sword, shield, book, right?
Yes.
Okay. So just make sure that we're on the same seed. That's what that code at the top is for. So what we'll do here is I'll give a countdown. Or actually, Cake, why don't you count down from 5 when we're ready?
Sure. Actually, just really quickly, Dragondarch, if you could just turn up your mic a little bit. Matrick and Cake are overpowering you a tiny bit.
I don't think I can actually turn it up. Let's check. OBS, please do things.
If not, you can just turn desktop audio down and I can adjust. No problem.
Okay.
Usually don't mess with the microphone too much.
You got it all balanced on your stream, and now it's getting all messed up.
I think what I'll do is I'll just quiet them down on Discord.
All right, sounds good.
That'll be a little easier than trying to fuck with my microphone.
All right. And things should be set now if you do that.
All right, I just put them at 60% for both of them.
Sweet.
Hopefully that'll be good.
With any luck.
The countdown is ready to go whenever you want.
All right, I'm on the file select screen.
Yeah, I am too.
All right, want me to count you off?
Do it.
Go for it.
Yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, have a good run, guys.
Really? Vanilla start screen? Great start. So the randomizer allows us to start on literally any screen in the entire game. And it put us on the vanilla start screen, which is a great start.
Good job, Randomizer.
Yeah. Randomizer this is.
Really, it's too vanilla. Need to reset. Get a new seed. So right off the bat, the first thing is that the wooden sword is going to be the first thing that we're really looking for here. It'd be nice if we could find, like a candle or, shops that have some money. But we're really looking for a sword to start with. And the sword can be in any cave on the world that is open right at the beginning. So it makes sure that the sword is always available right at the very start of the game. And so that's really what we're looking for here. Other things that are always open are going to be like the Armos item, which in the vanilla game is the power bracelet. But those items are shuffled. So we're looking for something, whatever it is. Rough, please. So, going into these caves, every time we enter a cave, we both have the same tracker that you see at the bottom right of the layout, except for what we're doing is we're updating our trackers on our end that with whatever it is we find based on what screen we're on at any particular time.
I don't know why I just tried that.
Yeah, so Cake, I believe, is going to be tracking the locations of the dungeons. Possibly swords, I'm not sure, maybe not. But
I'll do my very best.
Yeah, so the idea is just that this way you guys can have an idea of kind of where we're at and what we've found. Doesn't necessarily mean that we're through, any of those particular areas, but that we've at least found them. But yeah, finding the sword. So any of the open caves on the world, that means ones that are all the way up on Death Mountain, the secret caves that are in the corners, any ones that are hiding under Armos statues, vanilla dungeon locations, any of those things can house this sword. So it has to be available right at the beginning of the game, and it has to be, accessible on foot without any issues. Nice. So you may have noticed some of the sprites are a little goofy there, like boulders coming down off the top of the screen. Oh, nice. First death. Get that out of the way.
I died like a minute ago, scrub.
Yeah, so also another thing that's actually really cool here about this randomizer is that it randomizes the overworld enemies as well. So enemies that are normally found in dungeons, like on my screen you'll notice some gorillas that are throwing the boomerangs. Oh wait, I already found that. Why am I going back in? But yeah, so the boomerang throwing enemies, those things that you just saw on my screen, those were Stalfos. So those are normally dungeon enemies, and those are now on the overworld. So that's something that's pretty nice. Hey, great success. Have you found wood yet? Because I may have found nice things that may lead me to wood.
I found trees made of wood.
You found trees made of trees? Really? I need a candle. Then I can get rid of those trees that are made of wood. Or at least some of them.
I'm liking the amount of Wizrobe action I'm seeing on the overworld here.
What, 0? I like that too. Anytime that...
Typically, do you guys prefer to find Darknuts and Wizrobes on the overworld or in dungeons?
Oh, absolutely on the overworld. Well, okay, sometimes. I myself would rather see Wizrobes on the overworld unless, like, they're guarding the sword. Because you can get some really nasty Wizrobes that guard the sword, and it's like, oh god. Like, for example, if you get 8 blue Wizrobes on the screen that is 1 east of where vanilla level 1 is, where the only way to get there is across that bridge, and then you go and throw 8 blue Wizrobes there, you're not getting across that bridge easily.
You know what I'd love to not see on the overworld? Red levers.
Ugh. Would you rather see them in dungeons?
Yes.
Okay, maybe. I'll tell you what, they tried putting pea hats in dungeons, or flickering buttholes as they are in our file here.
That's one name for them.
Yeah, that was a name that was... Okay, so that name is actually something that came about when one of the first times we ever used this sprite set was in a randomizer tournament, and 2 of our friends, Metasigma and Scavenger 216, were doing commentary, and they saw that enemy, and they were so broken they didn't know what to call it. So they said it just looked like a butthole flickering back and forth, and then the name
that's
has
the name
stuck.
Scav gave it.
Yeah, and so it's basically just stuck. So we call those things flickering buttholes at this point.
And it's amazing how much this sprite set throws me off. It's so hard for me to follow what's going on.
Well, see, the thing that's nice about it is that you can, if you're accustomed to the game, you can tell just by like what the enemies are shooting out, what type of enemy they are. Or in the case of some enemies, like if I go to attack something from the front and it makes the shield sound, then it's a Dark Nut. But yeah, we're pretty accustomed to this sprite, so we've been using it a long time. Wow, that has a lot of HP. But yeah, no, we're very accustomed to how the sprites look. I mean, we changed everything. So basically, I think the only things that are still vanilla are bombs, rupees, the bow, a couple of the base items.
Rupees I changed.
Changed it on yours? Oh, don't pick that up.
I know what you just found.
Do not want.
I know exactly what you just found.
Absolutely do not want. I almost grabbed it too. I was like half on the tile for it. It was like, oh god! So yeah, now that it's no spoiler between the two of us, we've both found it. That particular item is detrimental only. You never want that thing. What it does is it takes your wand, and the wand is is a really nice item to find in the randomizer. Unlike the base game where it's hidden deep in level 6 and it's kind of off the beaten path, in this one you can find it pretty much wherever. And so when you find it, it does 2 damage with the when you contact swing it, and the projectile does 2 damage. But if you have, whatever. But if you have the book, what the book does is it makes it so when the projectile hits something, it sets it on fire. Now, the bad thing about that is the fire actually damages Link, so we don't want that. Really? No. I'm going to abuse a glitch there. No. Absolutely not.
I love abusing glitches.
That is lame. That is absolutely lame right there. Not even cool at all. That is a shape. It looks like a fish with the mouth pointed towards the screen and the tail up in the air. Oh hey. So we have a friend here. This is Troll Dongo. Oh.
Troll Dongo is one of my favorite things ever.
Troll Dongo's great. Yeah, so Troll Dongo there, it's a bad idea to walk into the face of Troll Dongo, especially when you're at low life. So yeah, that happened.
That sprite set is amazing.
Ew, do not want. Yeah, that was one that Dragondarch himself hand drew that, which is great. He spent, I don't even know how much time he spent on it, it looks fantastic.
It was the better part of an afternoon.
Yeah, it's so good.
That sounds like an afternoon well spent, honestly.
It was.
I am entirely on board with this.
Oh, really? I need... Damn it.
Yes, so one of the things that we're going to be focusing on when it comes to killing enemies, we're going to be focusing on enemies that kill or that drop bombs. Bombs are a hot commodity in this. Because of the randomizer and the way it works, we need as many bombs as we can get, because there's going to be so many places in dungeons where we're just going to be stonewalled and we have to just find a bomb hole. And it's of extreme importance to have plentiful bombs. We can also try to force them sometimes. But forcing bombs is, not exactly, it's hard to keep a count in a randomizer where you don't know exactly what's coming.
Yeah, just for those of you who don't follow Zelda 1 as a speed game, there's a trick you can use in the game where you can kill 10 enemies in a row without getting hit, and if you kill the 10th enemy with anything but a bomb, you'll get a blue rupee, which is 5 rupees. Or if you kill them with a bomb, you'll get a bomb drop, which is 4 bombs. So it's just one way that you can kind of make sure that you keep your bomb supply up, which is pretty cool and adds to the combat. Another
thing you've probably seen us do a whole bunch of times by now is you see us walk through one edge of the screen and come out the other side. And so screen wrapping is a trick where you line yourself up 5 pixels from the edge of the screen, and you have to do a 1-frame tap, either up or down. And then what it does is it moves your position into an odd spot, and it allows you to walk out the edge of the screen and come out the other side. This has a lot of major implications because you can actually wrap around the world in some areas. We can get over places like water that would normally need a ladder to get over. So we can get around the world. Also, a lot of. Are you kidding me right now? Is this for real?
This is real magic.
I'd really like less bubbles right now.
Nothing I can do about that.
Yeah, that's a thing right there. To run into that not once but twice. That's fantastic. You rolled a special one here.
Yeah.
I totally lost my train of thought when I saw that room. But yeah, so anyway, there's a lot of different tricks that we're going to be using. Like I said, the screen wrapping allows us to get through dangerous screens that we may not normally want to traverse, or we'll have a hard time getting through, or you just want to quickly get from one end to the other. This thing has probably max HP. So, okay, one of the things we haven't talked about is everything that's randomized. So, some of the things that are randomized in here are obviously the shapes of the dungeons. So, the dungeons layouts themselves are randomized. The monsters that show up within the dungeons, the actual sprites, the sets of monsters in general are randomized. And we randomize the HP. So the HP of the monsters is set at plus or minus 4 from what their base is. So that means that, some enemies can go down to 0 HP and, be able to be killed with like a boomerang. And then other enemies will have, up to 13 HP if it's like a blue Wizrobe or a like. And some of these enemies here, like these are actually Pulse Voice that I'm stabbing at right now in the base game. They look like rabbits normally. And they have 10 HP base, and I'm not even going to bother with this right now.
Now, I'm guessing the damage value that gets output by your swords and bombs and arrows and such, those do not get randomized, correct?
No.
That is correct. Yeah, all the damage values that go out in the game stay the same. The only thing that changes is the HP of the monsters themselves. It also randomizes the HP of the bosses, with the exception of Ganon. Ganon is not randomized.
Ganon has his own flag for that.
Yeah, there is an option for Ganon to be at either 0 HP, so he's dies in one hit, and his HP is just special because of that. But we don't have that flag checked as far as
I think I have the randomized HP on him checked, so he can take lower. He can take a lower number of hits.
Mm.
And this seems like a tough seed.
It's not exactly the easiest seed. I mean, one thing about having the start location where it is that if we want to warp back, there's ways around the map. What sucks is when you get a seed and the only position you have to go is like a one-way exit, and it's out in BFE. Like if you get started at the very bottom left corner, that's like the worst possible start location, I think. I would rather see basically anywhere else than there. Level 2 is another one that sucks if you get the vanilla level 2 start location, because that can be terrible. There's a long staircase that you have to walk down, and if you get something like red levers there, or like red Wizrobes, forget it.
Yeah, that is true. It's always kind of funny watching people who do the rando races of this when they're trying to get out in the beginning of the game and just explore, and all they have is like a blue candle as their weapon for the longest time.
Yeah.
And the overworld's just beating them up.
Yeah, that's very much a thing.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Many, many times. Then there's other times where you actually start on the first screen and you walk into a cave and it's Oh, hey, look. It's the sword. That's... Really? And then you know that you're in for a pretty good seed. Usually. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be good, but oftentimes if you get a really early sword, that means that, you know, you're going to be able to explore faster. Wow, this is Eye Bleed Dungeon. Look at this color. Something else you're seeing us doing is you're probably seeing us like pause the game and then go back to the menu, which is like they call it save and quit or up A. It's up. You pause the game and then press up and A on the second controller, and that's actually something that's necessary to do in Randomizer. It's very possible to soft lock yourself in a room, simply because you can't get out of it. Like if you go into a room with a Goma that has a shutter door in it and you don't have the bow, you're not getting out. There's just no way unless you die. And, you know, pressing up and A on the controller and, you know, save warping out is essentially the same thing as taking a death. I didn't mean to do that. Why did I do that? I had that argument.
All right, and then remind me again. So the other swords you can pick up in this race is you can get. So the wood sword you can just pick up. Doesn't matter how many hearts you have. Then the white sword, was it anywhere between 3 and 7 hearts?
No, it's 4 and 6.
4 and 6. Okay.
Yeah, and remember the white sword is shuffled in. So when we find the cave that has the white sword in it, it could be anything. It might be the white sword. It might not be. Oh, you know,
It probably won't be.
It most likely will not be.
And if it's not, does that mean the white sword will go somewhere else?
It means it will be in a dungeon somewhere. It will be inside of one of the dungeons. Very, very correct. By the way, I thought you were joking about Wizrobes on the overworld because I hadn't found any, and now I don't like it. No, sir, I don't like it. I hadn't seen a single Wizrobe yet, and then, oh god.
And I'm sitting here like, wait, which ones are the Wizrobes? I can't tell.
Wizrobes for us are the guys that kind of look like wizards with a wizard hat on them.
No, I found out like 4 screens after I started that I knew there was Wizrobes on the overworld.
Whoa. Excuse me. Buzz off, please. I don't like this screen. Yeah, so there's going to be very... Oh, no. I was about to get blasted there. I'll pass.
And then magical sword, that would be 11 to 13 hearts?
10 to 14.
10 to 4. Oh, wow, that's a pretty big range.
Yeah, they give you 2 on that one. So it's base 12, and they give you 2 extra.
So for us, it means it's going to be 14.
Yeah, with the way this seed's going so far. Which means more than likely neither one of us are going to end up grabbing. And oftentimes, too, for most like randomizer players, finding the white sword or the magical sword is a luxury, you know.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, when I was watching the randomizer tournament earlier this year, I would usually see people end the game with either wood or white sword, usually not with the magical, hardly ever.
Because a lot of times we don't want to dig for, you know, like the hearts in a dungeon. If we get the item and we get a Triforce, we're out. You know, we're not digging. It's just not, it's not worth it most times. Sorry, we get focused here, and it's like, okay, we're thinking about where we're going. Another thing is, you have to be able to route on the fly, because you don't know, you know, where anything is. So you have to base on what you have available to you. You know, oh man, that was cool. So you have to be able to be constantly checking your map, so you have an idea of what caves are available to you. You know, where you can check, where you've already checked, and you need to try to route yourself around the world in such a way to find different things. But keep yourself in a progressive state. So yeah, sometimes we'll be just staring. I know I catch myself just staring at my map while I'm moving around.
And Zelda 1's a pretty tough game already. Like, It kind of surprised me when I came back to learning to speedrun the vanilla game. It was actually a lot more difficult than I had remembered. And then, keeping that in mind, you're then adding in the extra difficulty of enemies with more HP and not having weapons where you expect them to be. And then you're having to route things on the fly and try to figure things out. It's pretty tough.
Yeah. Yeah, Randomizer's a very... It's a similar skill set, but it's very different from the base game too. You know, your combat's very important, but your ability to, you know, figure out what's coming and what's going, that's something that's an extremely important skill. And there are some vanilla runners who are, you know, amazing at the game that they just aren't as good at Randomizer simply because, you know, being able to route on the fly is just difficult for them.
Yeah, I mean, trying to figure that out for me would drive me insane, I'm sure. I've been kind of shy about picking up Randomizer for that very reason.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, I love that kind of stuff. I love trying to figure out what I'm going to do and where I'm going on things and, you know, what's the best way to go next and all that kind of stuff. I love that. I get off on it. So apparently I'm made of money.
Yeah, Deathflare, there's a glitch that you can use in this game where you can actually just clip through blocks and dungeons in order to save a bit of time.
Yeah, I don't have to kill all the enemies.
It's similar to the screen scroll technique that they use in the overworld, where they stand 5 pixels away from the edge of the screen and go through. It's just like that, but you line up at a specific visual cue inside the block.
Yeah, what's nice about the block clipping is that we can sword buffer it. You can also sword buffer from the left edge of the screen when you're trying to screen wrap, and it makes it slightly faster and it's slightly easier to do if you get good at it. Ew, that Triforce is far away.
Yeah, you'll usually see it with the sword buffer, but some people like to do it without it, and with the different items too.
Yeah, you'll get guys who, like, you know, they're in 9, they're on their last bomb right before they get the Ganon, and they'll swag drop a bomb. You know, that's the way they'll do it. Or they'll try to set up a grayscale or something of that nature. Can you not? I'm asking nicely. Yeah, if you're going to be a wood sword player, your combat's got to be, you know, pretty solid. You have to learn the patterns of the monsters so you know when it's safe to attack and, you know, understand which rooms you're going to have to go through multiple times, when it's worth it to kill something, when it's worth it to just avoid it. Ooh, nope. Okay, that was close. Another thing I was just thinking about that's also randomized in this is sorry, I'm trying to fight this thing and I'm not having a good time. The locations of Triforces. So Triforces are not necessarily going to be inside of Triforce room. That room is considered an item drop room, and it can actually be shuffled with any item that's in the dungeon. Are you kidding me? All right, well. So yeah, any item that normally would drop in a dungeon can be dropped. Also, another thing is that we have second quest rooms turned on. That means that there are certain rooms and tiles and palette sets that only show up in the second quest of the game that don't actually show up in the first quest. And they tend to be either slightly more challenging layouts or they're staircases that show up in different places. So we have to be checking, you know, all those kinds of rooms to be able to determine if it's a first quest or a second quest room. And usually what that means for us is we're just checking to see if a room has a staircase in it. That's essentially what the most common thing is going to be with regards to that.
Oh, get back here, you.
So I found a lot, but can't do anything in any of it. It's not cool. So you just saw me do a block clip there, by the way. That's what a block clip was. So I just line myself up in a certain spot, I sword buffer myself around, and I can walk right through the block. Now, it doesn't actually allow you to walk completely through the block. What it allows you to do is to walk halfway onto it, so you can get around to the sides. I am going to...
I'm not going to argue with what the game just gave me.
Cool. I'm going to pretend it was really shitty. Just so that I feel better about it. There's also some dungeons, too, that you'll see us go into, and we'll just... If we get an early Triforce in it, we'll just grab it and bone out. It's not even worth checking, because there are certain levels that are always going to be like really big levels, and we would rather not mess with those. We'd rather just...
How exactly does it work with the dungeon sizes? I heard it's something like, isn't it the higher the number of dungeon kind of like has more rooms, but it subtracts the number of rooms that were in an earlier dungeon or something like that?
No, okay, so the way that you want to explain it?
It tries to... Basically, it builds the first dungeon, like it starts at level 1 and it works its way up. But it will make the earlier dungeons smaller, and then the ones later on will tend to get a little bit bigger. 6 is usually the largest dungeon, but you have to remember that levels 1 through 6 all share a 16 by 8 grid. So they have to, everything has to fit into that one 16 by 8. 7 and 8 share their own 8 by 8 grid. And so those two will usually be fairly large, but you can tell what the map of the other one's going to be based on what the negative of the map... If you get a map for one, you can kind of tell what the map of the other one's going to be.
Okay.
And then 9 is on its own grid.
Yeah, 9 gets its own 8 by 8. So 9 can be at the max. Normally it would be 64 rooms, but 8 of those rooms are always staircases. That's 2 items plus 6 staircases in the dungeon. So that means you can have a maximum of 56 rooms in level 9. And more often than not, it will always be all 56 rooms available. And the thing is, in the base game, it looks like a skull. More often than not, it just looks like a brick. That's what it ends up looking like.
Or in that one race I had, it looked like Yoshi.
That was something else. So I don't know about you, but I have been starved of some things this season.
I'm alright.
This is, God, not even worth killing. Please, go away. Another thing that, we're looking forward to is getting to see, what blocks we have. Because the way that this game works in general is that there are just certain items that are required to complete the game. You always have to have the bow. You always have to have the silver arrows. More often than not, you need the ladder. But there are times where the ladder is not necessary to get through a seed, but it's usually pretty rare. Ow! Good lord!
It's ladder, raft, and recorder. You do not need every seed, right?
Yes, you're not guaranteed to need them, but they sometimes are very necessary. But they're not guaranteed to be it. So, when it comes to finding the power bracelet or finding the recorder or, whatever, because you never know when there's going to be a dig dogger blocking your path or when there's going to be a dungeon that's hiding underneath a push block. Push rock on the overworld, or if something's on a raft island. You don't know that until you go explore those things.
I thought it was interesting when I was watching the tournament. It seemed like there were at least a couple of races that were decided by one player who would see the recorder's location and then just bother not to go pick it up at all. And it would cost them 5-10 seconds to go pick it up, but then somebody else would grab it and it would win them the race later.
Yep.
Yeah, that happens. That happens with a lot of things. You just make the decision to, either skip something or grab it, and it can make or break your run. Like, I know I had one race when it was in one of the tournaments where I walked through a room that had an item staircase in it, and I was like, no, I'm on my way to 9. I don't care. I just need the Triforce in here. And the room that I happened to walk through held the red ring. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but it ended up holding the red ring, and the red ring ended up being like super helpful because the level 9 was brutal. It was absolutely brutal.
I guess just a reminder for people who are maybe newer to this game too. So there's 2 ways to effectively increase your HP. One of those is to get an extra heart container, and another way is to pick up the blue ring or the red ring. The blue ring doubles your HP, and the red ring will double that again, or quadruple it from base.
Correct.
So it's pretty helpful to pick up a ring if you can. But you can buy the blue ring in the shop, but it's usually quite expensive.
Yeah, base price is $250, and I think it can be as low as $230.
Yeah, it's plus or minus 20, but 255 is the maximum rupees you can get. So, you know, it stops you after a certain point.
However, getting the rings will not help you be able to pick up the higher power swords. So having heart containers has an advantage unique to itself.
Right. So combat so far in this seed it's not been easy. This has been a seed that's got some tricky things to it.
Uh-oh, my NES is starting to mess up.
Uh,
Graphical glitches, we'll deal with them.
That just makes it more interesting.
This means you're gonna have some super flickering buttholes.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
My dude, check this guy out. Oh, hey, great success.
It's minor. It's not too bad.
That's good.
No idea how long it'll stay like that, though.
That's actually something we didn't mention. Both of us are playing on an actual NES using a flash card. So the ROM is generated on a computer like normal, and it's generated off of, you know, a baseline ROM that we've edited the sprites on. And then we transfer that over onto in our case, it's a compact flash card. And then the compact flash card goes inside of there's an actual NES cartridge that takes that and reads the data off of it, and it runs it like it's an actual NES card. So that's something that we're able to do. So we're playing on actual hardware right now, which is nice because it means that we don't have, you know, input delay and things like people that would be playing on an emulator might normally run into. And that's a nice benefit to have.
Yeah, playing on actual hardware is really nice. It's definitely something I enjoyed once I made the switch when I was running this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Cake will tell you, he used to play on emulator and switched over and didn't want to go back.
Yeah, those CRT TVs, man, they're pretty good.
Yeah. So another thing is you'll notice us like skip over certain rooms where we just don't bother killing things that are in them, and other rooms we will try to kill stuff in. It's because we know what rooms have drops and which ones do not. So based on the dungeon, there's like 5 of these things in this dungeon though. Within a dungeon, we know that, you know, there's just certain room layouts that will never have an item drop in it. And so we're just going to avoid killing things in those rooms whenever possible and just try to get through it. Now, obviously, if there's a shutter door, then, you know, we're going to have to deal with that. But we'd rather not kill things in rooms that we don't have. Just because it's not necessary. Hey, that's a nice find. That is actually a required item to complete the game. So finding that is...
Pretty sure I know where you are.
That's a feels good, man. What color? If you think you know where I am, what color?
You think I keep track of the colors of dungeons?
Yes, I do. This room blows. So these things, there's 8 of them, and I think they have 12 HP each.
All right, so what's our objective for beating this thing? You've got to pick up it's the silver arrows, right, that you need to be able to kill Ganon,
Yep,
And
silver arrows
you-
and bow.
and the bow to be able to shoot the arrows. And then you need to have every single Triforce piece from levels 1 through 8. So that's 8 Triforce pieces. And then once you have the 8 Triforce pieces, the bow and the arrows, it's go mode. And you want to just go to level 9 and take out the beast. And then find the princess.
Right, so Ganon is required to be killed under this flag set. It is possible. Okay. All right. Okay, game. You know what? You're playing hardball today. Whatever you say. But yeah, so we are required to kill Ganon, and so Ganon and Zelda, more than likely, are not going to be in their normal rooms. Now it's possible that they will be, but more often than not, they will not be in their room.
This is getting progressively harder to see what I'm doing. I'm playing with a handicap.
Well, if you need to pause and just like save it and reset.
I was going to say, you can definitely reset your...
Oh, but it won't save the progress because he doesn't have a save file for it, right?
No, I don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the way the flashcard works is beforehand you have to create a save file for that particular game. You can name it whatever you want. But
I
you have
could
to create
probably
a
save it onto
file.
a different one, but I don't want to chance it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can
Maybe
still
you can-
mostly see what I'm doing, so...
It just makes the visuals more interesting.
Sure.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Just helps everybody in the stream appreciate modern day graphics and how this doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, really. Because you don't have pins at the back of a console that a cart is pushed into, and the pins are what's making contact. And if the contacts are not touching properly, then you run into some of these nice glitches.
This just makes me remember the pain of like my 5-year-old self having to reset the NES 20 times before it would boot up the game properly.
When you gotta blow in the cartridge for half an hour.
Yep.
Blow in the cartridge, shake it, hit it, do all sorts of things. Finally give up and clean it with rubbing alcohol.
Or you just give up and real. Oh God, that's not a screen I wanted to walk into. Well, I got in there.
Get in there.
I'm beeping.
Beep.
Beep
Beep.
beep beep beep.
Beep.
Yep, you was dead. I knew that was coming the moment I walked out the door.
Yeah, that seemed like kind of a death trap right there.
Yeah, good times. This game can just kick you good. It doesn't take much because some enemies, before you get rings, there are many enemies that do 2 hearts of damage, and there's a couple that do 4. And so, like blue Wizrobes, for example, their beams do 2 damage, and the contact from their bodies does 2 damage. So running into a screen full of blue Wizrobes is hazardous to your health, to say the least. And yeah, it's hazardous to your health. So if you get shot by a red Wizrobe, that's 4 hearts of damage.
I don't recommend you get shot by them.
Yeah, red beams are bad.
Feels bad, man.
Anyone that's a vanilla runner knows red beams are really bad. I still can't do anything here. This is that point where now I'm looking at, my map. I'm looking at the areas I've explored. I'm looking at the areas I haven't explored, and I'm seeing what I have found and what I haven't. And I'm going, okay, where do I go now? Because I'm blocked here, I'm blocked there, I'm blocked over there. I didn't mark this. That.
One thing I always chuckle at with this randomizer are the cute little messages that you get from the shopkeepers and the different people that you talk to.
Yeah, so that's actually something we didn't talk about. So a lot of the messages in the game are actually shuffled. And we have the hints sent to mixed. Okay, that means that there's hints within the game. When you're going through the dungeons, you'll find an old man that'll tell you things. Now, it's very possible that what he's telling you is a bold-faced lie, and there's other times where what he's telling you is completely true.
Well, he can't tell you anything that's a bold-faced lie because we have mixed hints on, which is just a mixture of community and helpful. There are hint types that are called deceptive, where half the hints are true and half of them are not.
Yeah. So the community hints are the ones where you see where you'll walk into an old man's room and he'll say something like, Dig Dogger dislikes country. You know, or show me the power of your Metaflex. You know, things like that. They're just random messages that have nothing to do with the game that somebody came up with and asked to have it put in. And then Fred Coughlin, who's the creator of the randomizer, just says, sure, and throws it into the message pool. So, Cake, I don't know if you've heard this, but Fred just figured out the other day how to... So normally when you enter a dungeon, you always come in from the bottom, right? So Fred has figured out how to move the locations of where you enter on dungeons. And he's figured out how to make it so you can come in from the right, left, or top.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good times right there.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whether or not, you know, when he gets all the bugs, I know he just put out like a beta for it, but whether or not, you know, that starts and how stable it is going to be a thing. Did I already get... Oh, I did. Nothing more. Oh!
It's kind of interesting, too, with the randomizers that way, is how... This has been kind of popular now for a while, and yet it still keeps getting worked on, and it keeps getting improved. It's like almost like a modern game getting patched nowadays.
Yeah, that's the closest thing that you can think of to it. And so, you know, what they do is they keep figuring out new things that they can do to the game. And oftentimes those things result in things that make people go, oh, why? Because they're just nasty changes. Like, for example, I a long time ago, I used to tell Fred, I think it would be awesome if you could shuffle the monsters between the overworld and the dungeons. And then he did it. And I hate it. I absolutely hate it, because even though we're playing with those flags on right now, it's not my favorite thing, because it can create some just, like I said, god-awful situations where you have a screen like, you know, one east of level 1 or one south of level 2, and you get 6 or 8 blue whiz robes on that screen. And it's like, what are you supposed to do? How do you get around that? Especially if the sword is there or something like that, and you know you're trying to figure out how to get over there, and the game's laughing in your face because it knows you have literally no shot. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Yeah, those are pretty classic moments. Definitely worth a few laughs.
They're ones where the whole time that the race is going, you're cursing Fred for doing that. But yeah, that's one of those things that I was so excited for him to do, and then it was like, no, don't, please.
This
no.
isn't as good as I thought it was.
Yeah, I take it back. I take it all back. But yeah, there's lots of stuff that keeps changing. There's a set of flags that are called Boomstick. And so I talked about the book earlier, how the book sucks.
Boomstick is so cool.
Boomstick's awesome. So what Boomstick is it takes the wand and it makes the book, instead of being an item that is shuffled into the pool, it's an item that you have to buy in a shop for 255 rupees. Roughly in there. It's randomized a little bit, but it's about 250 rupees. And what it does is it makes it so every time one of those wand shots hits, instead of blowing up in a fireball like it does normally, it actually makes a bomb explosion. And what's cool about that is that it allows you to blow open walls. Essentially, it gives you infinite bombs. But also, anything that's damageable with the bomb is now damageable by the wand. And that's a really nice thing to have.
Your game's getting pretty interesting to look at, Dragondarch.
Yeah, I can kind
it.
of figure out what's going on.
I'm glad you've got experience with that, because I would be kind of stuck.
I I don't. As much as I'd like for you to, like, poke it and see if you can set the pins a little better, I know better. I
Yeah.
know what your nest
Oh,
does.
I know what mine will do.
Hymns. We'll get hymns %, right?
That's about what we're looking at right now.
Oh, God. That sucks. So this is going to be a feels bad, man, if I end up winning this race simply because you're screen foobard.
Yeah, I'm with that. Chat's suggesting that they should just make this part of the randomizer, and you can just choose how deteriorated your graphics are. I think that would be a nice idea.
That could be fun.
It's fair if you both have the same type of graphics, right?
Sure. I'm not opposed to evening the score. Here, let me go and kick my nest right now and see if that'll work.
Not so sure that's a good idea.
No, it's probably not. But then again, we're playing Zelda Randomizer during Fangame Marathon. I don't know that anything we're doing right now is a good idea. Now, granted, this is a fan game, but so normally, okay, so I am known for generating really, really trolly seed. So I specifically requested that Dragondarch generate this seed so that we had something that was fair. Because I generated a seed one time. So Fred put out a patch to specifically reduce the frequency of Patras showing up in dungeons outside of level 9. They still can show up, but they don't show up as commonly. And they definitely, he reduced the frequency that they show up as like the same like mini boss in a dungeon. So right after he put that patch out, I generated a seed and gave it to Dragondarch that had 12 Patras outside of level 9. Like, not even kidding.
That's a lot of Patras.
That's a lot of Patras. There were
4 in 9.
Yeah, and then there was like, what was it? Was it 6 or 7 of them in level 7 alone?
I think it was just level 3, actually.
Oh god, it was stupid how many of them there were. And then there was even a couple of rooms where you would come in you would enter on the right side, which would bring you through the left door in the next room, and then it would shut a door behind you, and there were blue landmalas right there at the door waiting for you, which is, another fair thing to have happen. So yeah, basically I'm just known for generating seeds that are absolute hell. And even when the randomizer tournament was going, I generated a seed, and the guys that rolled it were like, "You're never generating a seed again."
Dang.
Yeah, so I didn't roll this seed, which is, like I said, probably... Ow, that was unfortunate. So what I just did right there was a scroll fail. So what I did is I walked through the edge of the screen, but I didn't come out far enough from the edge of the screen, so I actually walked back through it and walked right into a red whiz rope beam. That was sweet.
I love doing stuff like that.
Yeah, it feels great, man.
What I also like a lot is when you walk to the edge of the screen and you just intend to just walk through it, but then you somehow do like the random perpendicular input, and then you end up screen scrolling by accident. I've done that like 3 times. It's pretty good.
I am not that good to pull that off. I've seen people do it where they get like the first frame possible and then they accidentally screen wrap through it, and it's like, oh god, wow, I don't know how you did that, but better than me.
It's got to be how it was discovered, though.
Yeah, I have no idea. You're probably right. That's probably exactly how it was discovered. Somebody just, was playing the game and what the hell just happened?
Well, it was technically discovered in the task, but DW did it by accident later and then realized he had to basically figure out how he did it.
Nice.
Leave it to DW.
DW is a champ.
DW is a champ. Oh, this is not cool. Go away.
So yeah, I'm liking these white colored bombs. It's like you gave them a paint job.
Oh god, your colors are all messed up now?
Oh, they're getting there.
Oh boy. Ow!
His entire screen is infected at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh, I put that one a little off. Crap. Oh, well. We'll deal with it.
Will it get to a point if it keeps deteriorating like this where it just stops working?
It's possible. It's very possible. One of the best things that his NES ever did was he was running Goonies 2. And he turned it on, and it just like was all garbled. Probably worse so than it is now, where it was actually like it was replacing like text in the game with other text. So instead of like the hammer, for example, it called it hymns, HIMMMZ.
Yes.
That's what the hammer was every time.
Huh.
So we started making a joke and calling it hymns %. And so it became like a tradition that anytime that he boots up a game and his console screws up, he's got to do a run on it. He's got to do a run. No questions asked. He has to do a run on it. And yeah, there's been some great moments. Deadly Towers has had the king's face.
Done that one.
The king's face in Deadly Towers was the stuff of legend that day. That's like one of those things that's like highlight worthy. It's like it comes up at the very end, you're like, oh my god, I am so sorry about your face. Yeah. Man, his nest, Dragondarch's nest, does some things.
It
I don't know
usually
if
doesn't do this stuff, but of course it did it now.
Right, of course. It's
I
a
think that's
marathon.
I think that's what I think it is. I hope.
It's a mirror.
Yeah, do you guys have video clips of either the hymns incident or the king's face?
Oh, I
Being messed up?
highlighted the entire hymns run.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to get a screenshot or two of that.
Would definitely be a fun one to check out.
Yeah, Hymns is spectacular in many ways. So this is kind of what ends up happening to us at some point, where we can totally tell how far the other one is along, because as we get further and further and further into the run, we start talking to each other less and less. And then it's like eventually communication kind of stops. And that's at the point where it's like, you're in 9 already, aren't you? Maybe. Because it's, 9 requires complete focus, where we have to map out the entire dungeon all the way through. That's enough, eh? We have to map out every room in the dungeon because it's such a complex maze with so many staircases around that we actually have to map out each and every room individually. And the
How am I still
cake.
block clipping right now? What
If
even
you
is
want
that
to-
item? What did I just
Hey,
get?
Cake, on the tracker, if you see that little,
Oh, that's what
OW
it
button
was.
at the top, like top left.
Mm-hmm.
If you left click that, it will change into a dungeon palette, and then you can right click it to get it back to the overworld. But we can take and you can fill in that dungeon palette that's there. It's a big grid of 8x8, and we can then take and map out the dungeon. And we can, if you click through it, you can see how there's, you can put X's on, you can put different staircases. I just went back to the same room I didn't want to be in. Whatever. Got some BAMs out of it. Wasn't the
Yeah,
end
this
of
is
it.
my first time playing with the tracker program. It's definitely pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a really good program, and Quest Wizard has updated it many times. For anybody who's curious, it's a program called Z Helper, and what it is it's a tracker program that gives you the ability to map out the entire overworld. It shows you the screens that are there. The colors that are on there show you that there will never be a secret on that screen, or if it's got a red hue to it. If it's blue, that means it's a flute screen. You can change it between a first quest and a second quest overworld, which they are different. The locations of secrets are very different. There's more flute spots in second quest. So there's a lot of really neat things that the tracker program does, and to get to mess around with it, like some people use it a lot. They're really in depth with it, and other people, they prefer to have their own tracker method where either they're just doing it, pen and paper, or they have some other way that they keep track. I prefer to use the program. It doesn't really take a lot of time. I like it. I am able to because I'm on using a controller, like an actual NES controller on the NES. It doesn't give any issues to use the program because I'm not like clicking off the window and losing my inputs. Whereas somebody that was playing on an emulator, if they don't have background inputs on, they may not be able to use the tracker and move in the game at the same time. So that's another benefit of playing on console. That was very fortunate for me.
I think pretty soon it's going to be hard to tell the difference between land tiles and water tiles for Dragondarch.
Is it really getting that bad?
I can kind of see.
I can kind of see.
Don't worry about it.
I'm sure the chat's viewer experience at this point is top tier. They get to see one stream that's like crystal clear and the other one that looks like the Nintendo is vomiting on the screen.
Yes.
Damn it, I died right there laughing at that.
Perfect. Sabotage.
Oh, man.
There's a moat there that I couldn't see.
That's not a moat. That's a puddle of dog puke. Might be a moat too, if it's that big. Yeah, I think I'm not leaving back. Oh, also, I can do something else here. Do I need to? What was even in here? Whatever, I'm already here. Do not need, but whatever, I'm already here. So yeah, so right now, I was in a dungeon, but I found myself needing bombs, and I don't have any, so...
Needing bombs is a common problem.
So now I need to go and find a place I can farm some bombs. Do I have... nearby? So it's off to kill. And hopefully I can find some enemies that are bomb drops. So in this game, there are enemy drop groups. And the enemies that are in the bomb dropping group, I believe it's the B group. And the enemies in the B group are like red gorillas, red wizrobes, red dark nuts, blue moblins, blue lionels, and something else I'm forgetting.
Blue Octoroks.
Blue Octoroks,
Yes.
That's the other one I'm forgetting. And so when we go out on the overworld looking, to get some bombs, we're targeting those specific enemies. The way that the drop table works is, I believe it's on the first kill, I think it's the 6th kill and the 8th kill in the table, right? Is that what it is?
That sounds right.
Yes, first 168.
Yeah, so what we're doing is we're trying to keep track of where we are in the drop table if possible. I don't know it that well, but I can kind of figure it out after a while where I'm at in the drop table. And then I'm going to try to, kill those monsters in such a way to try to give myself an opportunity to get said bombs. Because otherwise, you could kill 10 blue Octoroks. I just that up. But yeah, I could kill 10 blue Octoroks in a row, and if I'm just not in the right spot in the table, or I am in the right spot and it decides not to drop it, then it doesn't matter anyway.
Isn't it like a 40 to 50% chance if you kill the right enemy at the right point in the drop table that you even get the drop at all?
The general drop rate is 37.5%, but it's frame-based, so...
Yeah.
Which basically means we have no control over it. We're killing and hoping. sometimes his NES does stupid things too, where it'll just fix itself. I've seen it do that, where it's all foobar like it is right now, and then it'll just fix itself. So
Just cross your fingers and hope, chat. I'm sure it'll fix itself.
fix itself in quotes.
In quotes.
It may have already fixed itself.
No, it didn't.
No, I mean like it's fixed. Again in quotes. There we go. That's what I was.
I wasn't trying to do that.
You suck, game. Oh man.
I'm at a
Wow.
loss here.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm blocked by one particular item. I know what level it has to be in, but I don't think it's possible to get to it.
Well, it has to be possible to get to it.
We would hope.
This is true.
Is this the newest version of the randomizer, or is this like
Yes.
a tried and true stable version?
There. When he puts out a public release, it's essentially tried and true stable version. If it's not, he fixes it right away, and puts out a new release. But this one's been out for a little while. This is not a beta version. I actually do have access to it, but we're not using that. We're using just the standard baseline, randomizer.
Yeah, it's gotta be in there somewhere.
Another thing that's kind of fun about, when we're doing these things is that not knowing where the other people are, creates like a pressure, that you're not normally used to dealing with. Ow. So it creates like like an anxiety. And so people will press, especially as you're seeing, that we're over the hour mark here at this point. And, knowing the quality of the runner on the other side, like Dragondarch's really good. He's really good at games in general, and he's damn good at this too. And so to be facing off with him, being this far in, I know he's no slouch. So I know that he's deep. I don't know how deep, but I know he's deep. So it sometimes will affect the way that I play, where I'm gonna be like trying to press or get stuff done a little faster, or be more aggressive at times.
How fast is like a fast playthrough of this type of randomizer experience?
It varies wildly.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's not. It doesn't. It's even if you find a seed that is really fast, your overworld routing and what you find and when you find it can completely change the landscape. So two players playing the same seed, going completely different directions, end up with totally different times. Even if the seed was considered by the vast majority of players to be easy, somebody just didn't go the right way, or they made some kind of a mental mistake or things like that. But yeah, so there isn't really. I'd say if you're getting times under an hour, you're doing good.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, you're doing really good. So I have a feeling I know what item is blocking you, because it's the same item that's blocking me.
And like a
Wow. That is not cool. That thing has more than 4 HP. That is not cool at all. Please tell me this is it. Well, that sucks.
best boss.
Cake, you sound a little tired. You're not allowed to be tired yet. This is Zelda. There's no sleeping in Zelda.
There's definitely no sleeping. The run's still alive. We got this.
We got this. We got this by the ass.
I did find that running Zelda was very hard for me to do when I was tired compared to platformer games. There's way too much thinking in this stuff.
Dude, you could play Wings of V while asleep. You
I
know.
almost could.
So hey, if we end up getting this done way too early, which I don't
think that's going to happen at this rate.
Yeah. If it does, why don't you just do a V run?
Well, you see,
I'm at a
this
loss right now.
This is Fangame Marathon, and Wings of V is not a fan game.
Oh.
Even though it was on Delphoot once upon a time. Zelda 2 is where the sleeping is. What a bird.
Wow. Someone who doesn't like Zelda 2. I don't know if I can get on board with that.
Funny story, when I was a kid, my neighbor had a copy of Zelda 2 that he'd bought, and he could never get it to work on anyone's NES. It would just not make a solid connection. It would just sucked. And then one day we were trying to get it to work, and somebody dropped it on the floor, or maybe they bashed it. I don't remember which, but it broke off a piece of the plastic on the edge of the cartridge, chipped it, and then it started working. So
Sounds about right.
That's a Zelda 2 cart for you.
typical
Holy
NES days, man.
Yeah. Well, you've seen Fap's, you've seen his one Karnov cart, right?
I have not.
So he took a Karnov cart and he put it in a rat trap and he snapped the rat trap on it and messed it up that way. Then he took the same cart. I'm talking and just not paying attention. Then he took the same cartridge and he hit it with a hammer. And then he took the same cartridge again, and I think he drilled a hole through it, and it still works. So the cartridge is missing a giant corner of it. It's got broken plastic all over the place, but when he plugs it in, it still plays.
Maybe it's because he didn't hit it with a hammer, but he hit it with hymns.
He hymns it.
That's gotta be what happened.
There's nothing better than hymnsing your cart.
Watching Dragondarch screen is starting to make me feel like everything is not right in this world.
It's not.
Don't worry, you're absolutely right. It's not.
Yeah, you're not alone in this. It's not.
I'm feeling like I must have eaten something pretty bad.
Yeah, when you had those mushrooms earlier on that burger, those were not regular mushrooms.
Absolutely.
You had the magic mushroom special.
I didn't mean to do that.
Sure you did.
Thought it was one item later. Okay, that was that.
Good lord, man. Okay, that's where I thought that was, but it's not going to help me because I know what's here. I already know exactly what's here. If I can find it, it'd be kind of nice, but... And yeah, this is one of those things that can happen in Randomizer where you're just kind of stumped. It's like, I know where it has to be, but I just can't get it.
Now, if only I was really good at doing this stuff, I'd probably have my tracker all filled out on both ends and be like, oh, we know that they're missing it in this specific spot. If they just went there, they'd be able to win. But I don't know what I'm doing,
here,
so...
And... like, there's nowhere for me to go. I've checked every spot I can.
We found the impossible seed.
As of right now, it looks like it.
Blame Fred.
Look. Here? I'd like to blame Fred. But blaming Fred isn't going to help us finish the seed at this point.
No, it's not. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna check every frickin' wall in here.
Okay, I need to go right there. That's where I needed to go. That should be it. Yes. Okay.
Can't go that way.
Can I do that?
Check. Nope.
Do that.
If we're talking about the race where someone's nest is going to get corrupted before the others, Dragondarch is absolutely winning.
I'm pro at that.
I think that's the race that chat is most interested in right now, so...
Okay, so those are definitely like that. I'm pretty sure I checked this one.
Yeah, my nest is boring. It works too good. Boring.
Okay, so far that all matches up.
I was very wrong.
Can't go that way.
Wrong in a Zelda randomizer. How could you?
Okay. Well, now... Huh. We're both looking for the same item.
Yes.
We both are.
We have to be.
Yeah, there's two dungeons that we're totally blocked in, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're both looking for the ladder at this point.
Yes.
Where the fuck is it now?
It has to be an 8.
It has to be an 8, but where is the question?
I cannot. I've bombed every frickin' wall.
Well,
so talk me through the methodology for how you come to that conclusion, because 8 is the one dungeon, right, that has 2 items
8
besides
and,
9?
8 and 1 both do.
1 does, okay.
But
Yeah,
we
one
found
and 8
all
both.
the items in all the other dungeons.
Well, I didn't find the item in one of the dungeons, but I know what it is because I got a hint for it. So I'm not, concerned myself with that.
Okay.
But so, like, we knew exactly what was everywhere. The only place that we don't know is we don't know where it would be in 8, and we know it cannot be in 9 because it's considered an important item, and important items cannot be in level 9.
Yeah.
So we know this. Knowing that means that by process of elimination, having gotten every single other item everywhere else, that level 8 has to house the ladder.
So nine cannot house the ladder or the raft. Is that what I'm getting?
Ladder,
It can't
raft,
house-
bow, recorder, and power bracelet.
Okay.
Those are all considered progression items, and you might need them to get into other levels. So they can't put them in 9 because if another level was blocked by it, you wouldn't be able to get the Triforce out of it to get to 9.
Right.
There's one more wall I can check up here.
I keep finding myself in rooms where I'm ladder blocked.
Yeah.
There has to be a way through this. The sanity check would have stopped it.
We hope it would have stopped it.
Yeah, unless it broke. Oh, that's bad.
Okay, go that way. Like, I'm having to retry to get my bombs back, and then just go back in and check. But I've literally I've checked every wall. I don't think there's a single wall I haven't checked yet.
This will
I
be
mean,
interesting.
I'm rebombing all of them just to be sure, and I rechecked the 2 dungeons that I'd found items but didn't actually pick them up, just to be sure. And nothing.
So at which point do we call a draw, supposing it gets to that point?
When one of us concedes to the other.
Dang, so this might go on forever.
Or we reach the 2-hour limit.
It's an
One of
eternal blood feud.
No, yeah. We don't just quit against the other. That's not how we operate. We have in the
Wait,
past.
what? I tried bombing that wall before.
Maybe your NES was too corrupted.
It might not... It literally might have just not shown the bomb hole last time.
Awesome. That means he's now ahead of me. If he
Yes.
just found the ladder.
I did.
Okay.
I'll give you a hint. It's behind a bomb wall.
Oh, you don't say.
Wonder how we came to that conclusion.
Yeah.
It's in a really dumb spot, too.
Yeah, I believe it.
I'm just gonna be impressed if Dragondarch can finish this run.
Me bombs.
Oh, he'll finish it. he'll finish it.
Alright, one of you guys needs to cough me up a bomb, please.
I'm afraid I'm not capable of doing that.
I think I just found it. See if I'm right. Great success. Okay. It's a race now, boys. I died in the fucking ladder room. Oh my god.
Good job.
My wife's gonna be pissed off. I just yelled throughout the house. Everybody's sleeping. I can't believe I died in the ladder room. That's awesome.
Well, I can't see my HUD map well enough to see if there's any open doors, so I guess I'm not checking any other rooms.
Don't worry about that. Oh god, I do that every time. That stupid trap. Walk into room. Trap is one tile in front of you. Give me a break, game.
You know, I'm gonna go get this just to be sure.
Crotch sword. I'm gonna grab that just in case.
No, I don't think I've seen an overworld HUD clip yet, you guys. Kind of disappointed by the lack of swag.
I did. I walked out the bottom of the screen, walked through the HUD at the top at one point. You just missed it.
Alright.
But I'll do it again.
I kind of want to see Dragondarch do it though, because it would look really cool.
Are you super familiar with how to do it? Like, you don't do it very often, do you?
No, not very often.
Like, I remember I would always get people, talking about it in the tournament because I did it all the time, and a lot of people don't do it.
Woo, I'm in the HUD.
Craigasm.
Yo, that's hype right there.
There we go. That's a clip. Somebody clipped that.
Okay, that happened. Okay. Shark squeaky chair.
I couldn't even see that thing lying on the ground.
Yeah. That's all I've got. Yeah.
So now it's gonna be really embarrassing because he's gonna win the race with that mess on his screen.
Oh, really, game? You just had to do that?
You. Okay. Time to fly.
Not sure I've learned how to fly in this game yet.
Oh, I can fly.
You want to explain how you can fly?
So what I do is I put my wings on and I fly.
Dang, where do you get the wings?
If you still have questions, take them off for Ruby's back.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to do that. She doesn't miss them. She's fine.
Yeah, she's fine.
Come on, do I get lucky? Ooh, I did. If you can tell what I just picked up, congratulations. Oh, that's a pallet to have screwed up.
It's a really nice pickup, though.
Oh!
Yeah, this is glorious. I'm excited.
I just did that.
Feels Matt Man.
Getting a clock in a Wallmaster room definitely feels Matt Man.
Those. Sure. Thanks, game.
You know, I couldn't even tell what that was, and I probably shouldn't ask, but...
I know what it was. It was a downgrade.
Nice. Yeah, at this point I can't tell any of the items are that you're picking up.
I'm guessing, and I kind of know what I'm looking at, because I've done this so many times.
So, which moon is better? Blue moon or red moon?
Blue moon.
If you're talking about the bananas, the red banana.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do not want.
You don't like blue bananas? What's wrong with you?
I
You
actually
do not
have both of them because I double checked to make sure they were the items I thought they were. I had to pick them up and check my inventory. Like, is this actually the item I think it is?
Yes.
I guess that's a fair point.
Nope. Alright, well.
Off we go.
So now we just need somebody to make an I Wanna Be the Guy fan game based on Dragondarch's tile set here. I'd love to see an avoidance like this.
I want to be the glitched mess.
Yes.
We're getting a pretty good idea of what squares look like. We need to have some triangles too. Some spikes. Some cherries.
That was a powerful rupee boss.
How do you think Miku would look?
Like shit. Most people would probably want to put the bullet in her at that point
Oh wow.
to put her out of her misery.
Poor Miku.
Thanks, old man.
Is that? Nope. It's not reverse C. It looked like it for a moment.
Love when a red moblin has at least 5 HP. Oh, you tried to kill it with a bomb? No.
I swear that bomb drop looked like a blue potion.
It was.
It's close. Oh, really? Alright, let's do this.
This is I want to see what happens when we scramble up our NES bacon.
Yes.
That's the name of the fad game.
I want to kick the NES. Oh, man.
I haven't been able to tell, as this is like second quest unlocked stuff, are there the red and blue bubbles that take away your swords and then you have to touch them again to get them
Not
back?
for this flag set.
Okay.
No, you can activate or deactivate second quest monsters, and they are deactivated.
Because I know when I look at second quest, that's one of the things that like scares me away from wanting to try it.
Ah, it's not that bad.
It gives me nightmares, man. I need my Link to have a sword.
A sword?
I like swords.
I like swords.
I also like bombs. Please drop some.
Yeah, really.
He listened.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
this is a thing. This is a thing.
So again, just those of you who aren't familiar with this game at this point, it's okay to talk about what we're doing in level 9, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
we're just looking to find Ganon. If we get close to Ganon's room, you're going to start hearing a roaring sound when you're one screen away. Now, once you're into that room, you can fight Ganon, you kill Ganon, and then you just got to find the princess at that point to win the game. And it's randomized where Ganon is and where Zelda is, so it's kind of interesting. Got to explore all over and hope we can find it pretty quick.
Right. So, if we kill all the monsters in a room with a shutter door and the shutter door doesn't open, then we know that we found Zelda at that point.
That's true.
And also, it's possible for Ganon's roar to be blocked by a Patra sound. Patras do have their own cry, and so it's very possible for Ganon's roar to be blocked by a Patra.
I knew I didn't like Patras. Yeah, Zelda wants to save the princess. What's up with that whole thing that I've seen in a couple of randomized races of this game where the player actually kills Zelda and then saves Ganon or something?
Oh, that's because they're using there are custom sprite Link and Zelda sprites you can use in the randomizer itself. And those, if you're playing as one of like Ganon's minions, you'll be killing Zelda and then rescuing Ganon instead.
Right.
Yeah, that one cracks me up. It's like this evil Zelda.
Yeah, it's a blue and red Zelda. Like all blue skin. She does not look happy.
Yeah, to clarify, you've got to kill Ganon, and then Zelda's room will pop open.
Right. Now, there's actually a flag set that you can put in where you can just say, forget it, and, Zelda's room can be open, making Ganon not required. But we have it checked to specifically make sure he needs to be killed. For science? Science. So like we mentioned earlier, when both of us are here and focused here in level 9, there's just not a lot of communication because we're so focused on our maps and tracking everything that's going on that, it can be hard for us to keep track of, the other and really be engaging. So apologize for that, guys, but it's just kind of the nature of the beast at this point due to, what it is we're doing here.
And I'm not really sure what to talk about because I feel like I can't really commentate it without giving stuff away. So it's like, well...
Yeah, that's kind of why we just have been kind of BSing back and forth the whole time, because there's just certain things, we just can't really mention because, because it would give it away to the other.
Sad Potato, the players will just know based on experience from having played this game a lot which blocks you can push and which ones you can't. You just gotta memorize them. But there's not too many different patterns of rooms that have pushable blocks, so it's pretty easy to keep it down. There's a few that I'm not familiar with personally, but I think it's just because they're from Second Quest.
Yeah.
Because I'm just one of those scrub runners who I have only ever touched First Quest.
Oh, I wouldn't call yourself a scrub runner.
And some rooms you cannot push the block until you've defeated the enemies in the room.
All rooms. All rooms you can't push the block till you've defeated the enemies.
But what if there are no enemies?
Okay. Touche. Well, we'll go with that. You win this round, Cake.
That's right. That's what I thought. Very carefully, Legrand. That's how Dragondarch can play with a screen like that.
A lot of it too is just, kind of general knowledge of what the rooms look like and how to navigate them and things like that.
Oh, wow, those are wed wizwobes. We'll go with that.
Wed
Wed
wizwob?
Wizwobes.
Wed wizwob.
I like the blue Wizwobes myself, but the wed ones are nice too.
Wed one. I like wed wizwobes.
There sure seems to be a lot of water in your game. There's just big patches of blue everywhere. So I guess another important thing to point out here is that running out of bombs in 9 is kind of bad because you want to bomb a lot of walls and see if you can find some holes so you can get around, because you're going to get stuck a lot if you don't.
Yeah.
And if you run out of bombs, you got to kind of leave and go either farm some from enemies in the overworld or go purchase them from a shop and then come back is usually the thing people will opt to do if there's not a chance for a random drop from an enemy nearby inside the dungeon. And again, then it becomes really important as well to do the whole trick of forcing bomb drops off of enemies by killing 9 and then bombing
I needed that. Really needed that game. What is this, man?
This is Sparta or something,
I guess.
but it's probably just Hyrule.
I don't know what this Hyrule is you guys are talking about. I'm somewhere else.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he's in. Yeah. He's there.
I thought this was Narnia, so yeah.
Sure, I'll be in Narnia.
That's what somebody said. Looks like Narnia.
We'll go with it. It's acceptable.
Low rule.
Low rule, yeah, low rule. That's a
Even low rule looked nicer than this.
low rule was something else.
Rather go to Dark World at this point, man. Just turn me into a bunny, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the Sacred Realm. Link's gonna get trapped here for 7 years.
All right. And there it is. Done.
Yep, I would have had you if I hadn't run out of bombs.
I can't believe I almost lost to you with a. Okay, I got to turn on the stream now. I got to see what your picture looks like. Oh my god. That is the stuff of legend right there. What is that cannon? By the way, were you holding up a Triforce or a skull?
Don't worry about that.
That is one cool looking Ganon.
What a great race, man. We couldn't have planned that any better. To come down to being within like a minute of each other like that, like it just...
8.
That 8 was...
Got done.
Awesome.
That stupid ladder.
Yeah, that ladder was... You know, here's actually what's interesting. I was in 8 a long time before that, and then I found the Triforce was blocking me, right? So I actually left because I hadn't been to level 2 yet. So I went to level 2 and cleared level 2, and then I came back to level 8. And at that point, that's when you were trying to bomb all the walls and stuff.
Well, I had been in 8 before, and nothing, like I couldn't find any way to go, and the only item that I hadn't found besides 8 was 7. So I went and checked 7, and it was the wand.
Yeah, so I had thought that the ladder was in 7 too. So I went and dug out 7, and I got the wand, and I went, oh, and that's when the both of us at the same time were both going, we're blocked by the same item. It's got to be an 8. It can't be anywhere else. So yeah, that was quite a seed. But yeah, I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Zelda Randomizer is a lot of fun. You can see how, you know, when you get 2 runners that are of relatively equal skill, that it goes, you know, it can be a really, really close match. You died 4 times. I died 15.
Die more to go fast, yes.
And I couldn't see what I was doing or some enemies. The red Wizrobes on the overworld, they're effectively invisible at this point.
Wow.
No, you were cheating because you had the enhanced graphics.
Enhanced graphics.
Like,
that is
so here's the thing. When I went back to 7 to find the item, I get into the staircase room. I get down in there and I'm looking at the item. It's like all I could see is just a white tip, and that's it. I'm like, what the hell is that? Well, let's pick it up and find out, I guess.
You know what I need to do is I need to go back and watch the VOD now so I can sit there and go, okay, so just how bad, you know, and how quickly did it get bad? Like, when did it
took a
getting...
while. Like, it started maybe half an hour, 40 minutes in, and it just progressively got worse.
Jeez. What a thing. That was, I'll tell you what, though, getting to see that Ganon at the end with the whatever you were holding up, that was a thing of beauty. And Maina there, she just kind of looks like a turd wrapped in a pink blanket.
I should probably try cleaning my NES at some point.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea.
See, I thought for a little while that maybe I bombed a wall and the graphics just screwed up in such a way that I couldn't tell whether it opened or not.
Oh.
So I rebombed literally every wall in 8 to try and figure out which one I missed, and it was just that one.
Yeah, the down one. See, so I had already bombed a lot of those my first time through 8. So when I got to there, and I was like, I've been everywhere I can be at this point. I was like, the only place I haven't been is that bottom left corner. Tried to bomb down, boom, there it was. I was like, oh, thank God.
See, I checked that corner, and I had it marked as I tried to bomb it, but I might have missed with the bomb or something, or it might have just been an accidental click. But I had it marked as I can't go that way, and I'm just like, okay, I gotta rebomb every wall.
Yeah, see, so that's the one thing that you do that I don't. You keep track of each and every dungeon and which walls you've bombed. I don't, but I know that it's come back to bite me in the ass before, whereas it's helped you to win before. So, you know, it does take a little bit of time, and it's a little bit more effort to do that, but it's definitely helped you before.
Oh, yeah. Like, I just keep track of everything because I don't trust my own memory.
Yeah.
Or my NES.
Well, I think that's going to do it for me. Do you have anything else you'd like to add here?
No. I think my NES has added plenty.
I agree.
Did you say your nest or your mess?
Both. So let's see here. I still have the schedule of them. What do we got up next? Looks like we have
permanence with Doppler. So
I Want to Be the Permanence by Doppler. I have never seen that game, so this will be interesting.
It's a relatively well-known adventure game. Pretty long, lots of traps, lots of variation. It's a cool one.
This is one of those that I hear about at like a marathon or something, and it's like, oh, I need to play it. Kind of like Justice Guy of late when I saw Wolfie do it. It's like, I got to play that now. Well, thanks for having us, guys. This was a lot of fun. I know some of this stuff was last minute. Cake hit me up at the last second to do this, and we went a little back and forth on trying to get this in here, but it turned out to be a lot of fun, and I hope the viewers enjoyed it because we had a good time doing it, especially with somebody's NES having a field day with the game.
Yeah.
But,
I'm happy you guys were able to do it. It was a lot of fun. Zelda 1 is becoming one of my favorite games. The randomizer is really cool, and it's great to be able to share this with the fan game community. And you never know, maybe somebody else from here will pick it up too. So,
yeah, that'd be cool.
Beautiful.
Looking for more people to join the tournaments.
Absolutely. I don't know when the next one's coming up, but they come up with new flags and new flag sets and new themes for the tournaments every year or so. So. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be another one coming up sometime this year or early next year.
Probably late. I'm guessing probably later on this year.
Yeah.
And for me, as a fan of Link to the Past Randomizer, this was a nice change.
Yeah, no, the Link to the Past Randomizer was a lot of fun, and Dragondarch and I have actually just recently gotten into the Super Metroid A Link to the Past Randomizer, where it combines both games into one.
Yeah, that's a long one.
That's a long one, but that's a lot of fun. It is. That is a hell of a good time.
Yeah, that one's good. There's a lot of good randomizers out there now. They're getting a lot more sophisticated.
Yeah. We've already kicked around the idea of saying, hey, I wonder if it's possible to put together Zelda 1 and NES Metroid. That'd be sweet. Got to find somebody who actually knows how to do that, though, which I do not.
Yeah, I'm not a coder. That's well beyond my skill level.
Zelda
you
1.
know how to do corruption at least.
I have my follower alert on? Oops, my bad. Thanks for the follow. Whoops.
Matrick, professional streamer?
Totally, yeah.
All right, well, thank you guys for the run. We're going to swap restreamers, so Cake is actually going to take over. He's sitting basically right next to me. And then we're going to move things over to Permanence. Thank you again for the run. It was a ton of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys.